Hi everyone, hopefully it's not too bright. This is about the shadiest place that I have to record right now, and hopefully I can get this review and some other videos in before it gets too hot today. So, I am here to do my August reading wrap up. So I only read a total of like 8 books, and most of them were pretty small. At least two of them are graphic novels, but I did enjoy everything that I read. So let's get into the wrap up. Coffee's so pretty hot. So I read Northanger Abbey. Is it Northanger or Northanger? I've heard it pronounced two different ways, but let's just say Northanger Abbey for the Jane Austen July. And obviously I didn't do it in a July wrap up. I continued it on to August, and that's mainly because I haven't read anything like that in a long time. Something that would be considered older or classic literature, so I wasn't quite used to the writing style. So it's kind of hard to give a review. I listened to it on audio, and I liked the audio. Something about it just made the characters seem fun to listen or read about, but it was just kind of hard for me to understand, and it's not because it was bad writing, it's just because I haven't read anything like that for quite some time, so I wasn't used to, the writing style, the language. So it was kind of hard to give a fair review. From what I got, I did enjoy the character of Catherine. This is basically about a girl named Catherine. I think she's like the middle child of, or a middle child of like 10 kids. She loves reading. She kind of has an imagination. She's kind of naive. She's described as kind of ordinary when she was younger, and not somebody you would think as like a heroine. I didn't quite pick up on some of the things that were in some of the reviews or the synopsis, and that's why I'm thinking that maybe I just missed things. There's quite a lot of dialogue in this, and I like a lot of dialogue, but it seems a lot more dialogue than action. And I do plan on rereading it. But like I said, it seemed fun. It seemed kind of lighthearted. And I do want to reread it at some point to kind of fully understand, and then maybe move on to more of Austen's work. But I think I rated it at least a 3 or 4. So it wasn't too bad. I read 2 Adventure Time graphic novels, comics, whatever you want to call them. One is called Princess and Princess, and this is about Finn taking over for, I think she's like a rock princess or like an underground princess, and basically he kind of pretends to be her so she can kind of get away because she's kind of like overprotected, and then some other stuff starts happening. It was a fun read. The other one I read is, I think it's called Adventure Time Comics. I think it's just called Adventure Time Comics, and it's volume 1. And this one was like micro stories, basically, like really short stories done by different artists. And that one I really liked. I wish the stories were a little bit longer, but I get it because they had like multiple artists. They probably can only fit so much into that book. But they were just really super short, like almost just like scenes more than stories. But I enjoyed all the different artwork and the little mini stories. They were like really fun. It kind of reminded me of that, I think it's Brunch Squash, right? If you watch Bob's Burgers, where they had like an episode done by fan art. It kind of reminded me of something similar like that. I know a lot of people had issues with that episode, but I really liked it. I thought it was like super fun and like unique, and I really liked this one. What else? Oh, I read, actually, when I say I read, I technically listened to the story on TikTok, but it was a complete story, so I'm counting it. I read My Shadow Was Purple, which is a children's book about, I guess, non-conforming to gender roles and stereotypes and stuff. Like, you can like whatever you want to like, no matter who you are. So it's about this boy, you know, I think it's like his mom and dad, I think like the shadow was blue and pink or something like that, you know, and other people's are either blue or pink, and they like, say, sports or dancing, you know, stuff that's typically for one specific gender, but his shadow was purple, and he likes a mix of things, and that's okay. The next book that I read is Creature Teacher. Well, actually, I listened to it on YouTube. I watched John B, aka Smooth Hot Chocolate, read it on his channel. He's got some other ones, so go check it out. He's got a lot of fun things on his channel. This is a Goosebumps 2000, and they're still hard to get a hold of. So I'm glad that he had a copy. This one was kind of gross for me. I don't like gross things. Like, I like some horror movies and stuff, and I can handle mild slasher things. You know. But I don't do well with gross things. And this one was just a little gross. It's about this boy that ends up going to this, like, boarding school, and his teacher is very obviously a monster. And everybody knows she's a monster, but they can't do anything because obviously the parents don't believe them, and they're stuck at this boarding school. But yeah, she's just this gross monster, and whoever has like the lowest grades and stuff, who's not doing well, who she doesn't think is like trying their best or is the best, she plans on eating. It was a fun Goosebumps book, just a gross Goosebumps book. I read, this one I think is a Hall of Horrors, and it is called The Birthday Party of No Return. And this one, it's kind of odd that it was called that, because the birthday party plays a very, very small role, a very almost insignificant role. You can almost take the birthday party out and not much would change. But anyways, it's about these, or the main character is this one boy. I tend to forget their names, but he's got like two friends. I think one is more of his friend, and the other one's kind of like a classmate, but still three friends basically. And I think they're all trying to go to the sports camp. They're trying to get like the scholarship and everything, so they're kind of competing against each other. There's this one boy that always has good luck compared to the main character, and then there's this one girl, I don't think she has as good as luck, but she's kind of like more athletic and everything. And kind of what happens is he gets this good luck charm, basically. He doesn't know where it came from. I think it's like an eagle's foot or something. It's some kind of bird's foot. Something really strange, right? And again, gross. And at first it's bringing him luck, but then stuff starts to happen where it changes. He started getting bad luck, and you know, there's a reason that you find out later, but obviously you would have to read the book to find that out. Yeah, that's pretty much the premise of the book. There's not too much more to it. I enjoyed the story. It was a decent Goosebumps book. not as gross as Creature Teacher, that's for sure. And not the most original reveal at the end, but not bad, not bad. I enjoyed it. And then finally, I read Three Dark Crowns. So this is, I believe no, it's not a trilogy. I think there's like at least 4 books. But this is a fantasy novel, like a YA fantasy novel, although it had some kind of mature themes at times, but I think it's still under the YA label. Anyways, this one I picked up because I thought it had a pretty interesting premise. This is about an island, I think it's called Fenbar, and I think at least every generation or every so many generations, a queen has a set of triplets. And people on this island, there's different sections that they kind of have like these powers. So the triplets usually, I think it kind of varies sometimes, but usually they have 3 types of powers. There is an elemental that controls like the elements, water, fire. There's a naturalist, which I thought kind of was almost the same league as an elemental, but the naturalist is more, they can control animals and make flowers bloom. The flower blooming thing just kind of made me think of like an earth type power, but anyways. So yeah, there's an elemental, a naturalist, and a poisoner, which they can ingest poison, not die, have like powers to kind of like poison other people, I think. And basically they live together, I think, until they're like maybe 6 or 7, I could be wrong. And then they are taken to different sections of the island where people with their powers live. Like there's a side for the poisoners, a side for the elementals, and then a side for like the naturalists. And I think it's when they turn 16 that they have to begin the Ascension year, which is the year that the 3 fight each other for the crown, and one has to kill the other 2 to become queen. So yeah, they live together until they're like, I think 6 or something, and then they're taken away to be raised with people who work within their powers, their elements, and they raise them to basically kill their other sisters and become the queen. And then their section is basically like the ruling section of the kingdom, and they're considered to belong to their island's goddess. So I don't think they stay with their mother, if I remember correctly. I can't remember if they ever meet their mother, or if they're just raised by somebody in this one section, and then when they turn a certain age, they separate. Because I think once the queen has the triplets, she doesn't die, if I remember, but she, like, goes off somewhere else. Because the children, the 3 future queens, are considered to belong to the goddess. And there's, like, this temple and these priestesses and stuff like that. It's, kind of like a twisted matriarchal society, basically. It was quite interesting. I expected a little more action, I guess, from the premise, but maybe it'll happen more in book 2. But I liked the characters. I thought it was a fun story, an interesting concept. And I am on the 2nd book now, which is called One Dark Throne. So that is my reading wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Anyways, bye guys. I said 8, and then I totally forgot about a graphic novel that I read called The Witch Boy. So this one is about a boy that lives in like a magical family, and the thing about it is it's kind of split by gender. Basically, girls are witches and boys are shapeshifters. It's always been like that. and there's kind of a strict rule that they stay in their own sections, lanes, I guess. Basically, there was a man that tried witchcraft. I think it's like the boy's uncle or something like that, or great uncle, something like that. And things bad happened, so they're very adamant that boys are shapeshifters, girls are witches. You do not cross those paths. But this boy, he cannot get the hang of shapeshifting, and he's very interested in witchcraft. And it's about him making this new friend, trying out healing powers on her, sneaking around, and of course, the bad guy and everything. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Important messages, about not conforming to certain things, being who you are. And it's got magic. And fun drawings and stuff. I still don't get why everybody's barefoot in his family. Like, they're never wearing shoes, but okay. Anyways, that now is my wrap up. See you guys later.